so I posted a picture today in the Facebook group where it was kind of like, the first time you do things, you're going to fail. But you're never going to have your 50th of something. Like, let's just say you want to start a podcast, but you're too scared to start a podcast channel, an Instagram, Pinterest for business, YouTube channel. It doesn't matter. Whenever you want to start something new, we all have that fear or worry or whatever. So a lot of us hesitate with starting because we don't want to fail, right? But at the end of the day, you can't grow or get to your 50th of something if you don't try, right? So the same thing goes with, so another thing too that a lot of us suffer with when we want to try something new is we do comparisonitis. So what we do is we go on Instagram, we go on Pinterest, we go on YouTube, and we do market research, which is smart, okay? But market research is really only good for getting ideas and inspiration. It's not good for comparing your strategy to somebody's strategy that's already successful. So when you are just beginning in your journey and you are on chapter 1, you cannot take on a chapter 20 strategy. So this has a lot to do with people that fake it till they make it. So let's just hypothetically say you want to take an Instagram course and you go to Instagram and you just look for the person that has like, I don't know, like 50,000 followers. You didn't do really any background research on this person, but it's kind of like the vanity metrics. So you see the vanity metrics and it's like, oh, they have 50,000 followers. They probably know about Instagram. So I'm going to buy their course from them. And then you go and you take this course and you're like, wait, this is all regurgitated information from Google. Like, why did I just spend X amount of money taking this course from somebody where I could have literally have Googled all this information and found YouTube videos on how to do it, right? Or it's like maybe you invested in a course or a program, which, trust me, this has happened to me before, where I invested in a program because I was just beginning my online business and I was sidetracked by the numbers where it was like, oh, 7-figure, 8-figure, be a 7-figure this, 8-figure that, right? And it's like, that's what we want. But when I'm just beginning my online business, I'm in my chapter 1. Okay, so you can learn from somebody that's ahead of you. I'm not saying that you can't, but make sure that they've taken the chapter 1 step, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, because when you first begin something, that's the chapter that you need to start on with your strategy. Let me know if this is making sense in the comments, because I invested in a program where somebody was faking it till they make it, and I was asking for their chapter 1 since they were on chapter 20, but they didn't know what to tell me because they were faking it, right? And then it was one of those things where it was like, oh my God, like I'm in a scam right now. Because like when you like just fall for that's why I push on you guys, like make sure they have live testimonials, make sure the person knows what they're talking about, make sure other people have taken the course and have great things to say about it, or a mastermind or a group program. It doesn't really matter. You guys have to look under, it's like you can't judge a book by its cover, okay? You got to look underneath the surface, because all of us have these big goals and aspirations and dreams for our online business, but there's also a lot of fake it till you make it fluff out there. And the problem with people that are selling, weight loss guides, or like that have been skinny their whole lives, right? Or maybe like are selling like 7-figure business secrets, but they like are like making like $10,000 a year, right? It's like you have to make sure that the person that's teaching you has gone from chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way to 20, or they're not going to be able to guide you on that specific journey, okay? Caitlin says that she can totally relate. And seriously, like this is coming from my experience too. And I think like I say it a lot specifically in this group that it's like, if you want to learn from somebody or something, make sure that they have gone through every step and it's through their own experience. So that's why I'm a big believer also in like having experience versus being a regurgitator. So not only is like, I feel like the fake it till you make it are tied with the regurgitators, because what is regurgitators? Regurgitators are people that literally just Google information like, oh, Instagram marketing tip, and then they like copy and paste like an Instagram marketing tip from Google, and then they paste it in their group, but then it's like, okay, now that somehow makes them an Instagram expert, when in reality that's not true, okay? Same with buying followers, buying robots, buying comments, buying likes, whatever that you do. That for face value, like the fake it till you make it, will fake people out. But at the end of the day, that's not a strategy, because when those people go to teach other people, like through their courses, through their masterminds, whatever, how they got there. And if you're in that position and you're hearing a lot of like fluff, or if you're asking direct questions and you can't get an answer back, there's a reason for that. It's because they don't know what they're talking about. Okay. So I'm just kind of hopping on and like going on this rant and saying this because like I've been in that position, and it's literally infiltrating Facebook groups. And someone like posted this question. I don't know if it was their status or a Facebook group, but they were like, what's one thing that you hate about this industry, essentially? And it's like, one thing that I hate is like how we all go through these negative experiences, but we almost like can't talk about them because then like we're going to be the bad person. When in reality, this person that's like a scam artist like keeps continuing being that person, and like no one's stopping them because there's like this fear-mongering tactic that's like hush hush, and no one can say anything about it. And I have a big problem with that. So I am probably going to be the polarizing person that's going to start, I don't call people out by any means, but I do stick up for myself. So, and yeah, I don't know. I think so. Going back to, you know, the chapter 1 strategy versus the chapter 20 strategy. Always remember that if you're just starting out, if it's your first time posting, if it's, you know, maybe you've been in business for 6 months to a year, which is still just starting out, FYI. If you are just beginning on your journey, you're going to read a lot of information online. Okay. And I think my best advice for you, if you're going to compare yourself to anybody, if you're going to ask somebody questions for guidance, ask them, what did you do in your chapter 1? I see that you're on chapter 20, but what did you do in the beginning? Because that's where I am. Okay. Be like, I am on my chapter 1. I have these ducks in a row, and I'm looking to get these next ducks in a row. And I see you've already done that. So how do you get from point A to like point A to point B, C, D until you get to Z, right? So it's like, don't try to jump from A to Z, which is so easy to do with like the sales tactics and whatever, because people are like 7-figure business, like 1 million followers, 1 million likes. Like it's almost like the extremist thing. So it's like, you either have nothing or you have the extreme. But what about the middle part, which is like the work, right? Which is what a lot of people want to pass by. They don't want to work for it. When in reality, a lot of like the most successful people that are out there didn't really become like the overnight success that you think that they are until 8 to 10 years after they've begun. Okay. So that's another thing to take note of. It's just, if you want the strategy to get to the next step, not the leap. So if you have like, you know, a 4 or 5 figure business, don't jump. Like, I'm not saying you can't get to the 7-figure, but it's like the strategy to get to the next step is different than the strategies up here. Okay. So just take that into account if you are looking for help or seeking advice online. So Caitlin says, we have to operate with integrity. I love this message, Kylie Francis. Oh, I'm so glad that you love it. Cause like, I'm really myself, I am working on like being a lot more vulnerable. Like I always think these thoughts in my head, and I know that there's a difference between like thinking something and then actually saying it and doing it and like sharing your message with people. So I hope that I am inspiring you. That's really like the reason why I show up every single day. I want to remain consistent. And I'm one of those people where it's like, if I am telling you what to do, like watch what I do, not what I say. Okay. If I'm telling you to be consistent, go look at how many live streams I do every single day. Essentially, I go on live every single day besides the weekend. And sometimes I go on live Saturday. Sometimes I go on live Sunday. It really depends. But it's like, I'm that person where it's like, if I'm telling you something to do, it's because I am actively doing it and I know that it works. So hopefully you guys can see that in the message that I'm sending across to you. But like, if there's one thing that I know, if in doubt, or when in doubt, like if you're like doubting everything that you're doing, or like if something's going to work or whatever, it will work. 1, 2, you've probably just not been doing it enough. So you need some patience. And 3, it's really just about consistency. Like it takes time. And I always think about it for myself. Like if I am starting something, like it is impossible for billions of people to know that I exist if I only push out one video. okay? If I only push out one Instagram post a week, if I only push out one podcast episode a month, if I only push out what other platform did I? Oh, one Pinterest pin like a day, right? So that's why it's so important that best known beats best. So the more content that you push out, the more your people are going to be able to find you. That's the end game, okay? So I know a lot of people want to avoid using or like refrain from always being on social media, but at the end of the day, social media is really the lifeblood of your online business, because that is how people know that you exist. You can have the perfect product, you can have the perfect logo, you can have the perfect website, perfect photo shoot where you're hanging off the Eiffel Tower, sipping on your champagne glass, but if you have no one to share it to, who cares, right? That's why it doesn't matter what you look like. That's why you can just show up doing whatever, because it really doesn't matter what you look like as long as you have a valuable message and you share it to the people that are waiting for you to show up. Keelan says you're a great role model. Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm so glad that like you found me and I found you and that you are in this group. I'm really grateful for every single person that is in this group and that chimes in on live streams. And yeah, I am simply here just to help you guys out, and I hope you guys know that. So that's really all that I have to say for today. So just to wrap it up, your chapter 1 or your chapter 2, whatever chapter you're on, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20, okay? Because you're not on the same page. That person's probably been doing it for 10 years. And also, the strategy on a chapter 20 is different than a strategy on a chapter 1. So if you are going about your online business, and let's just say you're 1 month in, 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in, doesn't really matter, and you're trying to emulate a strategy that somebody has been doing for like 30 years, like Tony Robbins, it's like a lot of times like we're going to be let down because what was I going to say? He's had that much time. He's had 30 years to get from point A to point Z. Whereas like you've only been doing it for 3 to 9 months. So it's like, if you feel like you are struggling in your online business, and this could just be a mental thing, you could actually be doing amazing, but you just think that you're falling behind, what you should do is you should just go online, go on Instagram, go on whatever, and look for somebody that is actually in the same part of the journey as you, okay? Or what I actually love doing is I love going onto YouTube and like, let's just hypothetically, so I'm like a year and change into my online business. So I will literally go back to Gary Vaynerchuk's videos, like 1 year into his business, and I will look and like listen to like a podcast that he did like a year into it. Well, you know what I'm saying? So like you go like that time distance from when they first started, and then you're kind of like, oh, this wasn't always that good, right? Because I think we do that a lot, and I do that a lot as well, where it's like we always compare everything at face value from where they are at in their journey and where we're at in our journey, but we forget the time difference that it takes to get from point A to point Z. Whereas like we might be going from A to B, but they're already at Z, right? So just make sure you don't get stuck in comparing yourself to somebody else's chapter 20 when you're only in chapter 2, 3, or 4, or wherever you're at in your journey. And same goes with learning from people online. You have to make sure that the people have experience that are teaching you what you should be doing, and that they actually went through a chapter 1, they went through a chapter 2, 3, 4, because they're going to be able to guide you through those steps. Whereas if you're just like masked or like rose colored glasses by like the 7 figures, the 100 million followers, the 100,000 likes or whatever, you don't really know if that's accurate information anyway. It's more important that the results are there through live testimonials. So yeah, that was really my rant for today. So if you guys love this rant, let me know in the comments. If you guys, have any questions on further live streams with social media marketing, growing your personal brand online, becoming an influencer, any one of those things, don't ever hesitate to let me know in the comments. I love going back, even if you're watching the replay, and chatting with you guys and answering your questions. So I will be at a wedding tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to be on a live stream. But I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you Monday on the next live stream. Bye, guys.